Wondering how you can become better at running your business? Entrepreneurship can be stressful. There's too much to do and not enough time. If you're isolated in your daily decisions, have no fear. Success and balance are possible. Welcome to the Small Business Answer Man podcast, where you master the art of running a successful business using practical advice from experts who want to help you succeed. Now, here's your host, Gary Wilbers.
Welcome. We're glad to have you back this week again for the Small Business Answer Man podcast. And I told you in this second quarter, I'm trying to get entrepreneurs on and share their story and some of the challenges and obstacles they overcome to be successful. And we've really got a great guest today with us because Wade's going to help us with that. But Wade, would you share with them what problem will you help them solve?
Yeah, so it depends on who's coming to me. So I own two college brothers moving and storage, and it's also a franchising organization. So if you're looking to move in one of our markets, we can help you get that problem solved by sending out an awesome crew of movers and making sure that your move goes very smoothly. But we also are franchising. So if a problem that you're looking at is what business do I start? You know, maybe you're interested in the home services already, or even owning a moving company already. I help people get off the ground. We've got a $1 million guarantee in our franchise organization, which basically means that if you join our network, and implement everything that we teach in our standard operating procedures and follow our formula and our processes, that you'll get to $1 million in annual revenue by year 3 in your business, or we'll refund your franchise fee and let you out of the franchise agreement. And so that's, ultimately I want to help people be successful in business, especially in the moving industry with the franchise model. But from a local level, people that need to get their heavy items from point A to point B without breaking them. That's where Two College Brothers Moving and Storage comes into play.
Super. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Wayne Swikle is with us. He's the founder and CEO of Two College Brothers Moving, Storage, and Franchising. He's a host of the Grow Your Moving Company podcast and co-founder of Moving Titan Retreats. Wayne started his moving company with $600 and a pickup truck at the age of 21, while a student at the University of Florida over 11 years ago. He grew it into a multi-million-dollar business with multiple locations and is now doing the franchising concept. He hosts the longest actively running moving industry podcast and is co-founder of the Moving Titan Retreats, a mastermind retreat that brings together ambitious moving company owners from around the world to uplift the moving industry. Wade has a master's degree in entrepreneurship from University of Florida and is currently an owner of 5 businesses. Wade, it is great to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
You shared a little bit about that story, and we talked about it there, that you started when you were 21. But share with us a little bit of what started College Brothers, what kind of got your idea going, that you got the pickup truck and decided to do this at the age of 21, and where you've kind of taken the business up to now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came home from my freshman year of college. I played baseball at a small school in North Carolina, and I had a partial scholarship, but it was still expensive because it was a private school. And my dad told me that, hey, you have to work this summer. You're not just going to go to the beach and hang out with your friends all the whole time. So it was coming out of that 2008 recession. I lived in a small town, beach town in Florida called Venice, and there weren't a lot of opportunities in the summertime for a college student, just part-time for a temporary period without a whole lot of real work experience. A lot of people with master's degrees were waiting tables at that point because of that recession that everybody was going through. And the summertime is always just kind of slow in a beach town in Florida because people tend to go there in the winter when it's warmer. In the summer, it's just really hot. So I applied to probably close to 30 places, and just nothing was working out. And my dad was about to line me up with a job folding clothes in the back room at a JC Penney. And I don't like malls to begin with. And I thought that would be a pretty miserable way to spend a summer. So started posting ads on Craigslist saying that I was a college student, looking for any kind of general labor work. I wanted to work with my hands. I was athletic, and I like to still think I am athletic, but I got a lot of calls to help load and unload U-Haul trucks. People were trying to save money and they liked the concept of hiring a college athlete to do that. And so I ended up transferring to the University of Florida in Gainesville and kind of did freelance moving for my time there up in Gainesville. I ended up working for another moving company part-time, learned a little bit about how they ran their business. And when it came time to graduate with a degree in broadcast journalism, I decided that I didn't want to be a sports announcer like I thought I did, and I wanted to go into business. So I applied for a master's degree in entrepreneurship through the UF Business School, and started the first official moving company. It was called Smarter Moving Solutions. I got the license and the insurance, and I thought that hey, I'm ready to hit the ground running. And the original two college brothers were actually already up and running in Gainesville. So they had started their operation in 2010, and I saw one of their trucks pull up to a stoplight right as I was starting my moving company, Smarter Moving Solutions. And I was like, man, like I love that branding. Like that was like my idea to like hire college students and focus on moving college students. And so I ended up competing against them for 2 years. I kept one of their flyers on my desk as motivation and inspiration because I just loved what they were doing with their marketing. And after 2 summers of competing against them, I got a phone call and they wanted to sell that company. And so I'd never bought a company before. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew that I had looked up to this company for a long time. And we ended up working out an agreement. I thought maybe I would run Smarter Moving Solutions for residential moving and then have two college brothers be the college student side of it. But I realized pretty quickly that college students really only move like 4 weeks out of the year, usually in the summertime between those semesters. And it just wasn't sustainable to just focus on the college students. So I decided to pour all of our resources into the Two College Brothers brand, which was a little bit more established at that time, and really just focus on becoming a full service residential and commercial moving company. And operated in Gainesville for a few years. They actually had a few like phantom locations in some other cities, other college towns. And I one of the first things I did within a few months of taking that brand over was to close down those locations and just focus on Gainesville. I really wanted to perfect the model. Those other locations weren't really producing. Gainesville was where it was at. So spent the next few years just grinding, growing in Gainesville. And in 2015 decided, okay, now I'm ready to like actually open another location. And I had a lot of contacts in Tampa. So and it was fairly close to where I was from. So just decided to pull the trigger, and I thought I could bootstrap it down there in Tampa, just like I had in Gainesville with $600 in a pickup truck. And I realized this is a whole other animal. Like, what did I sign up for? And so the next 3 years were fairly tough. I was trying to break through the noise. There was a ton of competition in a bigger city like that. But I knew that if I wanted franchise, which is my long-term goal with this project, is I have to learn how to have a sustainable business in a small college market as well as a big city, because there's a lot more opportunity in a big city. And so I sought out all the mentorship that I could. I went to conferences. There weren't a ton of resources for moving company owners at that time. So started calling other moving company owners that seemed successful and picking their brains, and realized like, wow, this information is gold. Like, I wonder if there's any moving company podcasts out there, and there weren't. So I was like, well, let's see if we hit record, what happens, what kind of opportunities can open up. And that's how the Grow Your Moving Company podcast was born. And so over the next, I guess that would have been 7 years ago, I've just spent as much time and just energy learning this industry, reverse engineering how to not only run a successful moving business, but how to provide the best customer experience, until I finally felt like I was ready to put all of those lessons into action through franchising to scale the business that way. And we sold our first franchise last May in 2023. And I've since sold another one in San Antonio, Texas, and have a few hot prospects on deck for it. We'll see what goes, but we're an emerging franchise brand at this point, and I still own 100% of the Tampa location. We've franchised out our Gainesville location now, so that's owned by an independent owner up there. And our model is really built around becoming a pillar of your community, building relationships. We provide a lot of the back end digital marketing support. We give you all the templates that you might need to wrap your trucks and any kind of advertisements that you might want. We've built we put a lot into our search engine optimization with the website so that a franchisee doesn't have to spend 10 years doing that stuff like I did. They can just jump right into it and start getting the process going and just focus on becoming a pillar of their own community and dominating their hometown. So that's my current project. We're still trying to dig deep and grow our Tampa Bay location as much as possible, but also we want to help other owners get into the moving business. And what took me 10 years, shortcut that to 1 to 3 years and really hit the ground running.
Wow, that's a great story. I love hearing successful stories and especially small business owners and kind of see that transition that comes through with time. Would you share with us, if you would, Wade, what would you give as advice? Because I don't matter what business you're in, that you would give to your younger self now that you look back, and probably some of those things you're putting into your franchise model. But some of those things that, as business owners that are listening to this, and could be new entrepreneurs that are coming on thinking about a business, what's some of those things they should think about? What would you say that you wished you would have known when you would start it?
Yeah, I think there's several, but a big one is definitely to really know your numbers. Set budgets according to your industry based off of where certain percentages for different expenses need to be. Know your KPIs. First of all, learn what KPIs you need to be tracking and looking at daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. And really get that part of it dialed in, because at the end of the day, everybody's in business to make money. And we can talk about, all of the other, heartwarming things that businesses can do and help a lot of people. But if you're not making money, you can't help anybody, because you have to be able to sustain the operation. So I'd say first and foremost, probably do that. Even though I had a master's degree in business, I took the accounting and the finance classes. I thought, I'll just pay somebody to do that. I'll hire somebody out to do that. But as an owner, you really need to know the ins and outs of that. So you know who to hire, what to learn, what to listen for, what to track, how to make the adjustments in real time that need to be made. So I'd say that's definitely a big one. Really understand marketing, understand how to track your marketing, how to have a measurable ROI on different marketing sources, and to try all kinds of different things. Different things are going to work in different markets. And the only way to really know is to have a trial period for those different sources, and to have a very trackable form of that marketing, so you know what to put more money into, what to cut out quickly before you waste too much money. I think a lot of businesses, just any salesperson that comes in, they just hire them thinking that they'll, promise the world and change their business. And if you don't know what you're doing, a lot of times those sales reps don't know what they're doing either. They're just trying to sell you the radio ad or whatever it is. So it's really important to learn that, and then just build a great team. Take care of your people, build an awesome culture, because if you want to grow and you want to scale, you have to it's a team effort. One person can't do everything. And a lot of business owners try to do every role in the company because they think nobody can do it better than they can. But you have to learn how to master delegation and to free up your time for the bigger pictures.
Yeah, what great advice there. And the financials I have so much believe on is you may not do them all the time, but you better know what goes into them and that you know your numbers, because if you don't, you're going to get yourself in trouble real quick. And I believe so wholeheartedly with the marketing and that culture that a company creates. You're listening to the Small Business Answer Man podcast. We'll be right back. And now back to the show. Well, I really am interested because you talked about marketing, and then marketing is changing with the generations. It's changing. Plus, we all have phones. We have everything that's available to us now that we can get any information that we want. So share with me your philosophies with kind of your digital marketing and the philosophies you think business owners should be thinking about now digitally, because it's now no longer, when you go into a marketplace, you can really become known not only in your market of getting to know those right people, but you can do it in the marketing side because you can know what they're looking up and what they're asking for electronically. So share some of your concepts there that you believe in.
100%. I mean, we could talk for hours on marketing. There's just so many ins and outs of it. But, gone are the days in the home services industry where you could just put a big ad in the yellow pages and whoever had the biggest ad got the most phone calls. And you didn't have to worry about how well you executed the service because nobody could publicly leave you a review. And we saw a lot of that in the moving industry. There was a lot of moving companies for a long time. I mean, 100 years, however long the yellow pages were around, that would do the newspaper ads and the yellow page ads and all that stuff that really isn't that effective anymore. And maybe in some markets there's still some viability to it, but everything's gone on digital. Everything's gone online. Google is so important now for anything like home services or moving that people are looking up. You have to do a great job. I've always felt like the best way to grow a business, the best marketing strategy is to consistently provide a 5-star raving fan experience for your clients. And that's our mission at Two College Brothers, is to do that every single day, day in and day out, because that doesn't cost you anything. In fact, it saves you money from having to fix things. So that word of mouth travels, and people are always looking for good people in the home services. And it's not going away anytime soon. Even with AI and everything else that are replacing a lot of jobs, people are going to still need physical home services for a very long time to come. So just providing a great service is so key. But also not only providing it, but letting others know that you provide a great service. And that's ultimately what marketing is. So yeah, the search engine optimization is huge. You have to create a well-built website that works, that loads quickly, that doesn't have 404 errors or whatever. You need to have good meta tags. You have to have good content on there. It has to be easy to use. And you have to be able to align yourself with other local businesses and organizations and governments to get, organic link backs rather than black hat techniques. That could be a whole podcast in and of itself. And I'm far from the expert. I know enough about it to communicate with my expert that we use, but that's huge. Social media is obviously huge too. We'll do moves for influencers that'll promote our brand. There's retargeting, so all that traffic that goes to your website from Google or wherever else, that is something that you can stay in front of now through all the social media. Everybody's addicted to their phones now and trying to keep up with that. So just creating good, clean content, good reputations on all those platforms is so big. But we do find some traditional marketing sources still work in our space. Direct mail is one of the best ways that we get in front of new customers, because we can get that listing data of the newly listed and pending homes on a market. And we can send them postcards that, a lot of people don't believe in direct mail. So it's kind of come full cycle, where that used to, swamp people's mailboxes and nobody paid attention to it. And then businesses thought that nobody pays attention to direct mail, so they stopped doing it. But if you can, do something that may be coming back into style, when I get mail, I go through all of it. And sometimes I'll see offers or something in there that pertains to me. And if you can target the audience that you're sending it to, like somebody who just listed their home or went under contract, then, it'll show up right at the right time and it'll feel serendipitous to them. And then they'll go online and they'll check you out. They'll read your reputation. They'll go to your social media and ask their friends and family if they know who this person is. So, it all kind of works together in an ecosystem. And then just, building relationships at the end of the day, repeat and referral business. You have to start by providing a great service, but really the reason I want to franchise is because instead of just open corporate locations, is because I want an ownership presence in the markets that we open up in, for especially a service like moving that is so heavily word of mouth oriented. You have to build the relationships with the interior designers and the realtors and the property managers and the storage units and even the other moving companies, because sometimes they'll get booked up or they don't provide a service that you provide. And it's good to be able to build that network. Or maybe they just, sometimes go out of business and they liquidate stuff. And it's good to have those opportunities present themselves if that happens too. So I'm super big on building relationships. Our entire team is a business development team. We don't just have one person in that role. And we're always trying to set up coffee meetings, presentations, you name it, get involved in the community and just be present.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And the marketing, I really appreciate you sharing that because today, especially in the home services, any industry now, but especially in the home services, you can set yourself apart in the marketing side of it. And you can bring yourself up. I'm sure you've seen it with the locations you've owned and now that you're franchising, how you can really get somebody up and running if you get that dialed in correctly. And then the question I always get is small business owners think that can't happen for them. You find the right experts, the people that truly do it, and then get to understand it enough that yourself so you know what the experts are doing, that they're sharing the right information with you. I think that's so important for business owners. I'd love to talk to you a little bit about systems and processes, but I'm going to do a little bit different because in the franchise model, that becomes one of the things that really comes in handy. Really, you've kind of created, you went through the tough part and now you've created some systems and processes there. And that's one reason to get involved in a franchise, because they have those systems and processes. So share a little bit of your philosophy there and then really what sets your franchise model apart compared to others that's in the industry that you believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, systems and processes are basically your recipe for success. So, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and trying to figure it out all out on your own, like I did for so many years and struggled doing that, the benefit of joining a franchise is that you already have that model figured out. All you have to do is follow the recipe. We have systems and processes for everything, including enforcing the systems and processes and adding new systems and processes. So and we're constantly trying to update those and simplify those, because at the end of the day, you could have the best system in the world, but if nobody in your team follows it, then it doesn't do any good. So it has to be something that's practical that people follow. It has to keep that what's in it for me at the front of your mind, as you're developing those, so that every role in the company can be rewarded on some sort of an incentive or performance pay, or have checks and balances. Checklists are big, video is big, short videos, because all of our attention spans have gone way down with TikTok and Instagram and everything else out there right now. And just knowing who you're trying to get through to, make it as simple as possible that a sixth grader could read it, at that sixth grade reading level. It doesn't have to be this cerebral textbook type of thing. Pictures, process, checklists, videos. There should be processes for how to train your trainers so that they can offer hands-on experiences, and just checks and balances so that you can enforce it and make sure that everybody's following those. And that's really what we've spent, the last 12 to 14 years, just really dialing in and reverse engineering so that it is easy to pick up and you can get onboarded very quickly as a franchisee, and then in turn onboard all of your people very quickly, in order to just fast track your success. Why try to figure it all out on your own?
That is great information. That's so important to have in each one of those. And as we kind of come to that point that we've got to wrap up, it seems like it always goes fast, but some great information that you shared with them. Share with them how they can reach out to you, or how they can, as far as the website, if they want to check out some of the information and check out about the franchise model.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, social media is usually the best way to connect with me. My Instagram handle is just my name. It's at Wade Swikle. I've got a book coming out here later this year called Hometown Titan, and you can order that at hometowntitanbook.com. That's a pre-order for that, and we'll get it shipped to you as soon as it's published. But if you're interested in the franchising side, just visit twocollegebrothers.com, and it's the number two, and you can just navigate there in one of the tabs, fill out an interest form, and I'd be happy to get on a quick discovery call with you. And then if it's something that still sounds interesting, we'll dig deeper into it.
Super. I appreciate you sharing that. We'll have it all in show notes. So if you're driving or cutting grass or whatever you're doing right now, don't worry, we've got you covered. Just go into your notes section and you just click on the link and you can get all the information of Wade right there available to you. Wade, one more question before I let you go. This is a question I ask every guest, but what would be your best business tip or advice you would give to small business owners?
Yeah, I think mentorship, find people in your industry that are already having a high level of success. I tried to learn as much as I could about business in general. Early on, I got the master's degree in entrepreneurship. I read a lot of books and listened to a lot of podcasts, but none of it was necessarily tailored specifically to the moving industry. So I'm trying to apply all these concepts, but I didn't know the ins and outs and the very specific ways how they would be tailored to my business until I started to reach out to people that were already having a lot of success. And then it all clicked. Like it all just made sense when I was able to get that mentorship. So I think finding somebody who is finding success in whatever business you're in, could be home services or something completely different, and study those people, try to connect with those people, pick their brains. Sometimes you have to provide a little value for them up front if they're really busy or really popular or an influencer or whatever. And there's a lot of creative approaches that you could do to that. Happy to talk a little bit more about it if anybody wants to reach out to me. But that's been the biggest key that I've found for any business. And whatever my next business is, that's definitely the first place I'm going to start are the people that are already crushing it.
Yeah, and I think that's so crucial. Jim Rome said, the 5 people that you're around the most, that's who you're going to become. Business owners, it makes a big difference. That's the reason I have a mastermind is I know the benefit of what you get in that group think, getting out of yourself, seeing what other people have those challenges and problems. Wade, I can't thank you enough for joining us on the podcast. It's been great to have you on as a guest.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was fun and it went too fast. So we'll have to do another one sometime.
That it always does, that's for sure. One thing is I like to give the business owners an action item when they leave, and you talked about systems and processes and why it's so important for every business. Doesn't matter if you're a franchise or not, that's one of the things you get with that. But if you have a business right now, what I want you to think about is, do you have your systems and processes in place? Because as Wade said, it's your recipe for success. So think about your business. What do you need to do in that area to be able to get that? All the information that we talked about is in the show notes, so please check that out. Again, if you like this podcast, like it and share it and let others know about it. And we thank you for joining us today, and we'll be back next week with another great guest. Make it a great day.
That's all the time we have for this week. To continue your journey, head over to smallbusinessanswerman.biz to access the tools and resources mentioned in today's show. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with someone who would benefit from listening. That's smallbusinessanswerman.biz. Until next time, remember, when you find the right solutions, your business grows and you get your time back.